There we go. Now we're good.
Hopefully it's better.
There.
Folks, we apologize.
Computer reset, and I forgot to push that button.
Yeah, well, you've been out of town all weekend. 74 degrees, heading to a high of 93. He's like a duck.
You've been here for half an hour and didn't open anything.
Like one job.
You beat me here and didn't open anything.
He runs the right side of the board and tries to keep up with my wit. It's not, and neither is that difficult.
That's what I was thinking about.
Right. It's just not that hard to keep up with me.
Not that hard to walk in and turn it all on when you're here too.
Right. Well, be on time, be early.
I was on time.
It's football season. What do they say at Texas? Come early.
Come often?
What's it? Come. No. Quit talking.
Is this Cracker Barrel?
That was the Chicken Ranch.
It was come early, be loud, and wear orange, something like that.
Daniel Wade, Greg Garcia, Ricky King on the podium this morning. There's Rena Scherer, Lisa Poole, Mark Kurtz, Bobby Leister, Marvin Mickish, Linda Christ, Monty Howard.
Wade and Carter Weather brought to you by the great folks at AT Deerland Feed. For everything you need, there's Deerland Feed. I can't help but marvel. So this year I put down, I don't know what you call it. It was sold to me as a ground cover. It's a wheat is what it is. That pumpkin or sweet potato vine, that it's that bright lime green.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we cut it back and it's like, it's angry. It's like once it developed a root system to supply the ground cover, when you cut it back,
it gets mad.
It grows exponentially. Yeah. I mean, I'm out there slugging it out. It's like, it might as well be kudzu. I'm fighting it like the deep south.
Can you turn it into like soup?
No, I poke salad in it. No, we're out there cutting that stuff back.
Like kale?
My yard is, I told the boys this weekend, I said,
he goes again with his yard.
My yard, well, it's a direct tribute to Deerland Feed. There's no doubt about it. And that 21-7-14 blend that we're sneaking up on Labor Day. It is time for another
this coming
application.
Weekend, folks.
It's time for another application.
application.
If you will just trust me, I use less water and have a greener yard than anybody in my cul-de-sac, period. No weeds. It's just a healthy, thriving lawn. And all I do is contract one of my kids to put down the 21-7-14 blend. That's it. That's it. It's not Miracle Grow. It's not having somebody come out and spray the yard. Remember when you were a kid? I don't know if they did that in Canada.
Yeah, they did.
They spray the yard, and the next thing you know, your neighbor's yard looks like a jungle. I'm just amazed. I told the boys this weekend, I said, somewhere in town, there's a guy that can do the yard better than me, but he doesn't live in this house. So I got up Sunday morning. It was already hot. And before we went to church, I went out and knocked down the front yard. And I literally just back out of the driveway, just look at it. I'm like, look how good that looks. That's how I know I'm getting old.
That's exactly how
Monty Howard, he'll be there this weekend. He's coming to see my lawn, and it will not disappoint.
Hand me my teeth.
Yeah, get me my teeth and hand me
my insurer
a Bloody Mary.
Stephanie Connie, Bobby Leister, Mark Kurtz, Scott Snow, Melissa Hansen, Junior Samples, Linda Christ.
Boy, they got irritable early about the lack of sound.
I know. Michelle Hawkins, good morning. Lisa Poole. There you go. Come early, be loud, stay late.
There you go. Thank you.
Jordan Glass, Mark Cepeda, Judge Posey, BJ Nelson, Buddy Stavanoa, Tammy Keeling, Justin Glass, Tammy Williams, Andrew Alvarez. Good morning, everybody. Glad you're all here. Checking in.
There you have it. What's the top story?
Which governor's mad at Trump today?
Well, it's always the governor of for example, of course, Pritzker's mad at him, but Pritzker's mad at him because Pritzker wants to run against Gavin Newsom for president.
Yeah.
They're not mad because of anything Trump did.
No, they're going to be in the Democratic race.
They're just trying to show
Yeah.
that they have the chutzpah to stand up to Donald Trump. That's all it is. Pritzker's been wrong pretty much at every turn, but he's been adamant. So he's often wrong, but never in doubt.
No.
And that's working for him with his constituents. I find it amazing that lately they're complaining about deployment of the National Guard into D.C. And you and I don't necessarily disagree, but I don't love the third world country presence. I don't like that there's a lawn in front of a monument, a big building, and there's a Hummer sitting on the grass.
Yeah.
Like it's parked out there like ceremonially. I don't personally like that. Does it give me comfort? Yeah, I think if I'm there, I feel great that I know that I'm safe. By the way, another full week, as far as I know, including the weekend, without one homicide in D.C. That's rare. The thing that they're talking about, the red states, the governor of Maryland was quoted as saying, this is not sustainable. It costs $1 million a day. It's this, it's that. And all these National Guardsmen are coming from red states. The problem is the biggest cities that may be in red states, if you will, are governed, ironically, by black men that have Chicago has a black mayor and a really high murder rate. And the mayor of Chicago is saying, we don't need troops deployed to Chicago. But you may need them. You would think at some point that black Chicago gang folks would run out of other black people to kill. They've been killing each other up there wholesale. 23 this weekend, 12 that weekend. They kill each other all the time. And you would think at some point they would run out of people to kill.
You would think they would be tired of
killing. But they don't seem to be.
But when the president brings this to light, they get angry.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, on CBS News this morning, one of the top stories, 5-year-old inadvertently shot and killed
in
Chicago. They haven't covered a Chicago shooting.
No.
When all the talk was about mass shootings and white people committing them, even though then they turned out to be a lot of white gay people or trans people killing people.
But then it's not news anymore.
But people were bringing up, well, what about Chicago? What about Detroit? What about Baltimore? The media ran away from that. Well,
yeah.
It was whataboutism. It's whataboutism.
And it's racism. If you talk about it,
yeah.
If you talk about the fact that in Baltimore, black people kill black people, you're a racist.
So then this morning, for no reason, other than it grabs a headline, 5-year-old child shot and killed in gang crossfire, basically, in the apartment. Bullet came in.
Just a white kid?
No.
Oh.
They haven't talked about a killing in inner city Chicago in years.
Yeah.
Ignored them during the Biden administration.
Absolutely.
Completely forgot about them when cities were taking money from police and putting them into social workers to help with these situations.
Well, how does it make you feel when you think about the basic fundamental functions of government? How does it make you feel when somebody says, well, it's just too expensive to deploy the National Guard? It's too expensive. Huh.
Yeah.
Greg Garcia says there's no political power in solving a problem. The more you string people along, the longer these politicians hold on to power.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, Andrew Alvarez with another solid point, not to mention all the blacks that kill other blacks before they are even born. The reality is, I think that systemically the government, whether you're Republican or Democrat, doesn't really care about blacks killing blacks. Guess what? Most of these blacks in Chicago, they're not working people. They're not.
No, they're entrepreneurial. They're
either
part
drug
of a
dealers
gang.
yeah. So at the end of the day, I mean, I'll be honest with you. If you put 10 people in a room and they're all bad people. You said, no, let's just wait a couple more minutes. Well, they've already killed 3. Just wait a little bit longer. Maybe they'll kill each other off. I think that's where these big cities are. Baltimore, Maryland. Have you ever had any desire to go there? No. Why would you go there?
Friends went a few years ago to go watch. Well, I was in Washington, D.C., and the only baseball game, because when I travel, I like to go to a baseball game, minor league or major league, doesn't matter. And the only game in the area was Baltimore. I don't even know who they were playing. So I looked into going, and I asked a couple people who are familiar. I'd have to get from D.C. to Baltimore. Night game.
Oh,
yeah. You don't want to be on that train coming back from Baltimore after the game.
No, I had people tell me
go.
The last time I was in Chicago, which was years ago, don't go to New Comiskey. No, just don't go down there at night. Yeah. President Trump says, if Westmore, that's Maryland's governor, if Westmore needs help, I will send in the troops and quickly clean up the crime.
Talking about Baltimore.
I have no problem with it. It is interesting to me that the left is all of a sudden worried about the cost. Remember, they don't want to cut anything. They don't want to cut any spending.
No,
the Department of Education, don't cut there. The IRS, we need those new IRS agents. Don't make any cuts. But yet when the government finally says, look, this is ridiculous, all of a sudden it's like, well, that's unconstitutional. Well, that's not sustainable. Well, it's too expensive. Well, I don't get it.
Well, here's why they were complaining about the other cuts or the spending cuts. And this is not spending they want to do. That was money going to NGOs.
Oh.
And that was money somehow being filtered back to them.
There you have it.
I'll throw that out there.
I believe it.
Campaign contributions from some of these NGOs or those that run them that are being paid 6 figures to run a nonprofit that's supposed to help the downtrodden and the poor, mostly associated with Catholic charities.
Let's see. It says President Trump responded to comments that he needed to walk the streets of Maryland before making judgments about the situation.
Nobody wants to walk the streets of Maryland. Right. I was warned about that 7 years ago when I went to D.C.
And he said, I assume he's talking about out of control, crime-ridden Baltimore. As president, I would much prefer that he clean up his crime disaster before I go there for a walk. I don't have a problem with that. What's wrong with the president pointing it out?
Because they don't want it to be pointed out.
Well, it makes him a racist. That's white supremacist. I don't get it. If you live in a terrible place, does it matter what color the mayor is? I mean, it's a terrible place.
And you would think people would want it cleaned up.
Yeah.
Funky Trey Molina, Matt Boucher, Chris Price, Katina Arterberry, good morning. Micah Patton.
Great group.
Jared
Did you go out there for that coin flip?
I did go.
Tell me about that coin flip. I'm sorry I could not be there.
Well, the referee gave me a Torrey Pines commemorative coin. Torrey Pines was heads. The other side was tails. I flipped it. It came up tails. Calhoun won the coin toss. They called tails.
So you failed.
Apparently so.
Good. I mean, seems to me you would want Victoria to win the coin toss.
Well, at least
so they could defer. Did Calhoun elect to receive?
No, Calhoun elected to kick off, and the Victoria Premier Youth Football League Seminoles fumbled the kickoff.
Did we recover?
No. We were down 8-0 when I left.
There you go. Let's see what Andy Rokovich has to say, because there's Bob Constantine. Get well, Bob. Quit messing around. I have a topic. What does he say?
A friend of the show recently asked what a false flag operation really is. I explained to her that it is when a group or country makes something controversial happen that seems to be organic. It is anything but organic, similar to when NGOs used U.S. aid money to create Antifa and BLM to portray America as a racist country. Thoughts?
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. It's no different than when the left was, I believe, behind the majority of the violence and stupidity that happened on January 6th. At the very least, I think the left and the FBI at that time were complicit with that activity. I don't have a problem with that. It's funny how many people are saying, and it's not, you have to really dumb your brain down if you spend any time on Twitter or social media, because you have to realize that really, really stupid people spend too much time really, really involved in those venues. And that doesn't reflect, I have to remind myself, it doesn't reflect the majority of Americans' thoughts. But people are like, Trump, Trump's a criminal, Trump's this, Trump with the insurrection. Is it not at least of note that not all these courts all over the country have had all these different things to say about everything the president's doing? Not one court anywhere, Letitia James, nobody has filed charges against Donald Trump for causing an insurrection. Nobody. Nope. They all talk about it as if it's fact.
I don't think any of the January 6th people arrested were arrested for insurrection.
The January 6th attack on democracy. And I pointed this out last week to him. I didn't point it out on the show. These people like Gavin Newsom saying, we've got to redistrict our own state to save the democracy. Folks, understand the long-term play here by the left. They are attacking the Electoral College. It's what they're doing. They're trying to get to the point of one American, one vote, pure democracy.
Pure democracy.
Mob rules. I'll give you an example of a democracy. A democracy is a lynch mob. We all agree that Ash needs to go. So we just go pick Ash up.
It's about time.
That is a democracy. A republic that we work at doesn't take away the rights of the minority just at the whim of the majority. I'm still yet to see that, for example, our redrawn districts here in this state, I don't believe it's going to change the voting of our state significantly.
And if I remember correctly, didn't the Supreme Court tell Texas they had to redraw the maps because the 5 districts that were redrawn had violated the Voting Rights Act?
Yeah, but I don't think that we had to redistrict now. I do think it's a little bit controversial. It's kind of like we're in control. We can't. Who does this sound like? We can do it, so therefore we're going to do it. You know what that sounds like?
Sounds like VISD
right.
after Hurricane Harvey,
which was criminal. So
there's J Dub, long time no see, buddy.
Hey, J Dub.
Sherry Jacobs checking in. Well, we didn't have to do it. We could do it. But what's really funny is the left and the crying and the complaining and the shouts of gerrymandering, they've all but disappeared now that Governor Newsom is doing the exact same thing in California. And what people forget and have not completely ignored on the left, the media, the Census Bureau completely fudged the 2020 numbers that would have resulted in Texas gaining 3 more House seats and California losing 2. Yep. 3 for Texas, plus 3, minus 2 for California. As a result of their gross miscalculations in the 2020 census that, they didn't come forward with those facts until after the 2022 midterm elections. December of 22, the Census Bureau goes, oops, we miscounted in 2020. There should have been 2 less seats in California. Texas should have had 3 more. Oh, but the elections were last month. Too bad.
Right.
That's what happened. So here we are, halfway to the next census. And yeah, Donald Trump told Governor Abbott to jump, and Governor Abbott basically said, how high?
Yeah, that bothers me a little bit.
But here's the other thing. People still have to vote. And here's the fear that the media and the left, well, it could result in 5 more Republicans. It could result. It might result.
It should result in 5 more seats, but it doesn't have any guarantee that they're going to be Republican.
And they keep forgetting there's still only 2 senators in Texas, and the Senate is the check and balance, right?
Right.
And if you pay any attention, as close as the House is, the Senate's a deadlock. Our vice president is breaking Senate ties right now. And the Senate ain't picking up 5 more seats in Texas as a result of redistricting.
No.
There's still only 2.
But now you understand why people want Puerto Rico and D.C. to become states, because the assumption is that those states would be blue and they could break a deadlock in the Senate. Yeah. Kathleen Leininger, wrapping up the Planned Parenthood comments, sums it up perfectly that Margaret Sanger deliberately placed an overmajority of Planned Parenthood clinics in Black neighborhoods. It was so convenient for the lazy, the unemployed, the so inclined to just wander down the street, get an abortion, and go back home. That's what happened. That's why they did it. And it worked.
Tulski, good morning.
Yeah, there will be a citizen question, I believe, on the census going forward. I think you need to be I understand the logic of you have to give representation based on population. I get that. But in the same breath, you have to enforce immigration law. Otherwise, you've got, like California, it makes no sense to me that California lets a whole bunch of illegals in and gets more houses, more seats in the House. That doesn't make any sense to me. We've got more power in Washington because we're breaking the law and letting in more illegal aliens. It doesn't make any sense. Well, they're doing jobs nobody wants to do, and they're just good family people. Okay, well, go do the jobs that nobody wants to do in your own country and take your family with you.
Why do they never want to affect the change in their country that they then want to? They
want it to be Mexico here. They come here, and Mexico's just being a broad. They want it to be Honduras here. They bring their Honduran flag. They act Honduran. They praise Honduras.
They're escaping Honduras.
So go back.
But then they want Honduras to be here.
Yeah, go back.
I've never understood that. You're escaping terrible regimes. You're escaping what you claim is prosecution or persecution based on your religion or your socioeconomic status or the gangs that are running your country.
That's right.
And then you want this country to turn into the country you just left. I don't get it.
Nope.
You left there for a better life to get away from the oppression and the persecution and the prosecution.
Well, I'll use in this case, Mexico as an example. Go on down to Guadalajara and start walking down the streets, waving your American flag and demanding your rights. You'll end up in jail within an hour. No doubt about it.
Absolutely you would.
Or dead. It's hypocrisy is what it is.
And I saw the same thing in Canada in the 90s when Milosevic was wreaking havoc in the former Yugoslavia, and a lot of Croatians and Serbians came over, and they couldn't get the streets of Serbia and Croatia out of their lives. They were fighting in the streets of Calgary. You escaped it for a better life, but you brought it all here. I don't understand that.
We could talk about going to Europe and being overrun by Islam, but that would be redundant. Let's take a break, and I want to hear about Canada and the tariffs. Folks, Palace Bingo, where friends meet friends.
Thursday? Should we just call it?
I just don't know.
Junior called me and said, just call the date. Even if you two can't make it, He will take our flag and run with it on Thursday night.
That horrifies me.
I was like, do we want that?
Right. What is Thursday? The 28th?
Yes.
All right. Fine.
I might be able to be there.
I might be able to make it. Palace Bingo. But the beautiful thing is you can go to Palace Bingo anytime and have a great time. Get to Palace Bingo where friends.
Gary Schmeckel the other day was harassing me about a date.
I was in the chopping block yesterday. I did not know this. I had bought enough meat that I got a free ribeye.
Nice.
It's fantastic. Chopping block has great meat
Collected
specials.
enough points.
It's
Good for
awesome.
you.
Yeah, I got points. You put your phone number in and they keep record for you. Which, man, at $16, $17 a pound is a good deal. Veracruz Restaurant Monday. Get into Veracruz. We'll get to that in a
I'm going to
second.
get to that in a second.
Yeah, that's we made it all last Friday without using the word stupid. Veracruz Restaurant Monday. Great day to get back into Veracruz. You'll be thrilled. Queso, guac, fresh salsa. They're making it right now. Get in there today. USA Concrete Coatings. Check it out. You want it sanded, sealed, stained, painted? They can do anything you want to concrete. They are miracle workers.
Now that the Astros took 3 or 4 from the Orioles, you want to put that Astros logo down?
Put it back. They can do it. And then Allen's Wrecker Service, 578-6300. Allen is your go-to tow-to. So what did you have? What?
Good morning, Marina. John Anderson checking in. Well, interestingly enough, got into a little online conversation over the weekend, and somebody said, made a comment about a democracy and that they're not against democracy. And I basically said that the U.S. is not a democracy and was lambasted by the left. There's democratic. It's a form of democracy. We're a representative democracy. It's not a pure democracy, which was what they were inferring.
Well, what happens
or maybe I inferred that they were referring to that they aren't against democracy.
They didn't intentionally imply, but you still inferred.
Maybe so. But I don't. Pure democracy is mob rule.
100%.
And we see that, and we see that here in our state elections and our local elections, where you just need one more vote, you're in.
That's why we are a constitutional republic. I mean, it's a Republican. It functions in a democratic way.
And some guy went and got AI to prove that I was wrong.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I'm not
semantics.
Even. I didn't even bother going back and forth in it.
We don't. Is there at this point in the world of self-governance? Is there a pure democracy form of government anywhere in the world right now?
Yeah, I don't know.
I wouldn't think so.
I don't think there is, because at that point, but for example, if it was just a democracy,
be a good Google
search
about
for white
supremacy.
supremacy.
Be a good Google search for our producer.
The U.S. would be just be driven by white people.
I mean, to me, Greece might be there because they were the birthplace of democracy, right? But I don't know. There you go. Andrew Rokovich says there's no democracy in this world.
I didn't need to look.
There you go.
And he also says they keep trying so hard to change the definition of words, and that's kind of where I'm going. It was going with.
Well, the reason they do that is they want to get rid of the Electoral College.
Yeah.
They want it to be one man, one vote. It's a democracy. We're a democracy. No, we're not.
You want pure democracy? Go look at your run for high school class president.
That's exactly what it would be like.
Who wins?
Vote for Pepe.
Not necessarily the person that might actually do the job the best.
Vote for Pedro.
Yeah,
the guy with the best slogan wins.
The best looking, the most popular, the guy who handed out candy back in the day to buy
Joe
votes.
Biden, the guy that cancels your school debt. That guy, the guy that cancels your student loans.
Yeah.
He's the guy.
Maybe North Korea, would they have one?
Right? Yeah, it's a pure democracy. What he says goes.
Absolutely.
Right, that's it.
Yeah. Just all votes aren't weighted the same.
So very interesting. On Friday, Prime Minister Mark Carney says Canada is going to remove many of the retaliatory import tariffs on U.S. goods.
Why would they do that? They were committed. They're Canada. Losing too much money?
Probably so.
I thought Americans paid the tariffs.
Canadian manufacturers were losing their market, despite all the bluster out of Canada that they've found secondary markets around the rest of the world. It's hard to replace 330 million people
who buy your
right
stuff,
next door to you.
who like Prem,
I mean, think about it.
Click.
Treat.
Yeah, they like it.
You've got to go and find 10 Englands to sell your
Widget.
stuff to, and then you've got to ship it there.
Yeah. Instead of just trucking it in or pipelining it in. Once again, President Trump, right. He's right.
Yeah.
He leaned on them. They caved. People that are like, it just doesn't seem fair. Politics isn't fair. Look at what the left has been doing to Donald Trump since 2016. Politics are not fair.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the two sides not close to a deal on a new economic and security relationship.
That'll happen pretty quick.
But Carney decided that
Do you feel less secure because we're at odds with Canada?
no,
I don't.
and I
feel
don't
like
think
Canada
I don't
protects
think
us.
Canadians feel any less secure either.
No, they know at the end of the day we would always have their back because it's in our best interest to protect North America.
Carney says Canada and the U.S. have now reestablished free trade for the vast majority of our goods. Canadian exports still subject overall to a low level of U.S. tariffs.
It's okay to drink Jim Beam again, and Canada celebrates.
Yeah, I don't know if they're bringing bourbon in yet.
Yeah.
Jared McCreary says Carney scared Trump so much.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
There's Daniel Bird checking in. Can't have a democracy because most people are not intellectually competent.
That's true. The masses are really stupid. Yeah.
Andy Rokovich says they want to hide behind words. Have we ever voted for a tax rate? Have we ever voted for a war? Brenna's spot on. If we become a democracy, then the entire country will be forced to go to a Christian church every Sunday.
It'll be like England was back in the day. You can have the illusion that you have control because you have your one vote, but you don't have representation.
Not by population. Just look
No.
at Canada's parliamentary system where Alberta has not gained any seats in the House of Parliament, yet they have way more population than the Maritimes, who have more seats in Parliament than Alberta.
Right.
And when a Canadian election is run, the election results start coming in from Newfoundland a half hour before Nova Scotia.
Which is an hour and a half before Newfie, right?
Yeah. And then they come in a little bit later in Quebec and Ontario. But by the time the polls close in Alberta and Manitoba and Saskatchewan and British Columbia and the Northwest Territories and Yukon, and none of it.
You just went right across
I did.
the country
The-
like you know.
Like I know it.
Footbone's
The election
connected to the ankle bone.
The election is decided by the time Manitoba votes are counted because the seats in Parliament are so misappropriated
Yep.
to the population of Canada and where population. When Canada was founded in 1867, most of the population lived from Ontario east, Upper Canada, Lower Canada, the Maritimes. That was it. Now
Lewis and Clark hadn't gone.
They hadn't gone there yet.
West
No.
yet.
They got to Oregon, took a right, then went back through the Arches in St. Louis, but via Canada
Yeah.
because the
It's
Arch
too
was
cold
there.
up here.
Andy's
Nobody-
last comment says, I'm certain that the Democrats don't really want that, but as usual, they have zero idea what they want or the end result of their ideas. That tends to be the function of the left. At the end of the day, the chaos that they create during the right's reign, if you will, is usually designed just to buck the right. It's not really the end result they want. I mean, how can anybody be as left as you want, be bold, put your comments in here? How can you be against Trump bringing the National Guard to DC? And people, the left has used it's states' rights. I'm like, DC's not a state. I don't understand that. It's not a state. It's not. They don't have a governor. It's not a state.
No.
The president of the United States has literally said, I want to be able to walk the streets of my nation's capital.
And Congress in 1973, I think, somewhere around there,
Yes.
gave the president the power to deploy National Guard troops to D.C.
And
for
he
30
actually
days
used
at a
the
time.
power. And then the left, when else do you
And was
ever
it- and
hear
was
the
it right?
left
Did you say
complain
this
about
this
the cost?
Never. And were
Of
you right this
anything.
morning? Were you right this morning? Was it you that said there's no murders in D.C. this week?
No murders in D.C. all last week. None this weekend. It's a rarity. It's a rarity. And that guy, I heard a guy on the radio last week on a Breitbart call in. He said that a guy told him, he goes, hey, look, our city's not that bad. I mean, you might get mugged once in a while. Somebody might, jack your car. They may take your car. But overall, he goes, I was mugged once years ago, but it hadn't happened in years. I've never been mugged. One mugging is enough.
Has your car? Yeah.
Y'all
I
hear
think
about
I heard the same guy. And he had his car stolen from him.
And he thought that was no
carjacked,
big
and
deal. I mean, yeah, my car got stolen.
Did you hear about the lady that got her arm broke, but then still didn't want Trump there? in
It's
their
crazy
city?
talk.
It's like, what do y'all want?
I mean, it'd be kind of like, oh yeah, I've got a happy monogamous marriage. I mean, my wife sleeps around every now and then, but I mean, overall, she's a good gal. Okay. I mean, I guess fidelity is in the eye of the beholder. Freedom is in the eye of the perceiver. I don't understand it.
No, but the Democrat Party is now the Communist Party, and their tactics are very similar to what Lenin and
I agree with Andy Rokovich 100%. He says it's not a state. Trump is correct. On any given day, there are more people visiting D.C. than live there. He's protecting those that visit and giving them a say in D.C. 770,000 people in Washington, D.C., inside the Beltway, inside Capitol Hill area, very walkable, very safe, has been. Of course, it helps when you're strolling down one of the streets and all of a sudden, there's the FBI building. You feel somewhat safe, but it's straight advice when you get to your hotel, especially a nicer hotel. Yeah, don't go that way. Don't go down that street.
yeah.
That's not good.
I remember
That's where the Smithsonian is. Yeah, but don't be down there at night.
I remember being in downtown Cincinnati and got that warning. Yeah, you can go out of the hotel, but go to the right. Or if you go left, 2 blocks to the left is the maximum. You don't want to go 3 blocks over. It starts getting sketchy.
Yeah. Kathleen Leininger, Dems rely on the message they can convey with talking points, yet rarely have the foresight to think it out and see the disastrous end results. It's an unthinking popularity contest to them.
I would like to know why they continue to think that communism is such a brilliant system.
Legislated mediocrity. It goes against human nature.
Not even
Everybody-
mediocrity.
Well, that's right. Everybody, well, maybe not. Americans, I believe, if not inherently, just by living in America, you have the desire inside you to do better. It may not necessarily involve working harder. It doesn't mean that necessarily all Americans are like, I'm going to work harder because that will help me achieve more. But Americans want more. I wonder if you went to China or if you were in Soviet Russia, if there were people that were just so beaten down emotionally that they didn't aspire for more. Because you wonder sometimes why these communist countries don't revolt.
They can't. They have no guns. They have no ability to do it. And the minute somebody rises up, they disappear.
But you don't think that our government has any people in it that would want to take all the guns so that we couldn't defend ourselves, do you?
Oh, yes, we do.
Oh, what are they called?
Democrats.
There you have it. Tell me I'm wrong. Don't tell me that the Democrats just want to help everybody get a leg up. They want to take your guns.
They don't want to give everybody a leg up. They want to give everybody the same outcome.
That's right. That's called DEI.
They want to take your money and give it to somebody who doesn't have it. Have you seen these videos resurfacing of all the people on EBT or
Food stamps.
food stamps? Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
And
He's
now
good.
there was
He's
one.
good.
Yeah, there was one on the weekend that I watched of this lady getting mad that all she could take off the grocery belt was the vegetables, the meat, the boxes of chips she had to leave behind. She was complaining that she was going to have to use her cash now to buy the junk and the candy. She's tatted up.
See,
She's
there
probably
you
got
have
about
it.
8 vapes in her purse.
Yeah. Probably needed to skip a meal.
No, she didn't look that large.
Jarrett McCrigan says Canada is well on its way. United Nations goals 2030. You will own nothing and be happy, tongue in cheek. UK and Australia as well, led by the King. Something about the Commonwealth countries leading the 2030 charge. Linda Chris says, if everything runs the right way, the way it's supposed to, the Dems are not able to cheat and steal money. Their party is falling apart. They want to fight it getting fixed so they don't have to fix themselves or be held accountable for what they have done in the past. Don't get me wrong, neither party is perfect. In fact, somewhat to my chagrin is too easy a term, I don't personally like that Donald Trump is the Republican Party. Donald Trump's not a Republican. Donald Trump was never a Republican. Donald Trump is a businessman who's a thinking conservative. I don't want conservatism. For example, I was a Ronald Reagan Republican.
Yeah.
Now, was he the greatest Republican ever? Maybe not. In fact, some of his economic policies we now know were very expensive. And
he grew the government.
But I thought the way that Reagan thought. I liked Mr. Gorbachev tear down this wall. I supported all of his ideology. I'm not that in lockstep with Trump. We do need a strong leader in the Republican side, because as quickly as we point out that the left has no clear vision and no leader, the idea that with drugs rampant, homelessness out of control, wildfires unchecked, LA, the idea that Gavin Newsom is even remotely presidential is absurd. The guy's
but he's got nice hair.
He has great hair. He looks
Decent
like
looking dude.
George Hamilton's love child.
He does. Probably was.
Right? Go back up and I just it blows my mind that I mean,
Tammy Keeling says calling the troops out is not normal. You know, it's not normal.
It's not
but
normal.
The fact is DC
isn't normal.
It's not
under control.
Remember they called them into Kent State in the 70s?
That wasn't normal. Didn't end well either.
No.
But at the same time,
and resulted in changes to the National Guard.
Sure.
But the reason these mayors are so afraid, because they've promised to clean up the streets and fix the crime problems, and they haven't done it. They don't want to do it. These cities are so corrupt. They don't want to fix the problems. They're afraid that Donald Trump's going to come in and fix the problems they have sold their voters for decades, half a century. Baltimore's been a S-hole of a city for 50 plus years.
Nobody goes to Baltimore. They don't. And I'll go on and read. She says, justify the action all you want. See, you don't have to justify the action because the
when you have no
powers of
murders,
1973 made it perfectly legal for the president to bring them in.
But I would think no murders in a week or
pretty
over
good.
a weekend is pretty justifiable for the action taken.
The put down comes in this form. It's in keeping with your election and J6 denials. Does anybody now, knowing what you know now, does anybody really believe? It's okay. It's okay to say, yes, I believe. Does anybody really believe that Joe Biden got 81 million votes? Do you really believe that? I mean, in your heart, do you believe that it was an uprising because he was so young and energetic?
What election denials? Because I want to get to this for a reason here, or I'll point some things out that are so glaringly and blatantly obvious. Blaringly. I've just made up a new word.
I like it. Blaringly.
2016, Donald Trump beats Hillary Clinton.
Right.
We now find out that all of the bluster from the left of Donald Trump and Russia teaming up to throw the election was actually the left using Russia to try to throw the election, right?
Right.
So there's no denial there anymore. The left is just conveniently forgetting to even acknowledge it. Then come 2020, oh, geez, COVID, people have to vote from home. We're going to allow mail ballot harvesting and drop ballot harvesting. Then what happens? Well, 2024 comes along and all those COVID era election laws in most of those states are pulled back. And what happens? The results go back to basically 2016 results.
Right.
So I don't need any more proof than the fact that the laws changed in 2020 or for 2020.
Elected Joe Biden
Because mail ballots, drop ballots, lots of fraud, lots of miscounting. We saw videos of, anyway, I'm not going to go there because the numbers speak for themselves and the laws changed and something changed. The outcome changed. Joe Biden got more votes than any other president ever. You really think that's the case?
Happen.
This guy was one of the most hated guys ever to walk the Senate, except in Delaware.
And he had been
his own
shunned.
party hated him.
Yeah, they hated him for years. I'll go a step further with the January 6th thing because we were here live with it. We talked about it the day it happened. The idea that there was civil unrest and the fact that there were some complete idiot trespassers who
broke windows and broke into the building.
Did stuff
Absolutely.
they shouldn't have done is undeniable. But the assertion from the left is that not only was this an orchestrated, planned, systemic takeover and attack directly on democracy and the republic itself,
Trump.
It was a coup. It was an overtake that not only was it planned exclusively by the Republicans, but it was orchestrated and driven by Donald Trump. There's where you lose me. You've got crazy people everywhere. You do. And disagreeing with me doesn't make you stupid. It can render you ignorant. And I'm trying to help you. We had a nice message in church yesterday, and I'm flattered to point out that the only person who's always done this was Jesus Christ. He was never prone to, he always told the truth, but he always spoke in love. Sometimes, because we only have an hour, our truth gets thrown out emphatically, harshly, judgmentally. It's like, pow, pow, take that. I don't have endless counseling sessions to try to bring you up to speed with the truth. So sometimes, and by the way, chaos, drama, issues, that's what's entertaining. That's what's interesting. If we all just got here, if you and I got here every morning and said, Kumbaya, nobody watches after week 2.
Kumbaya.
Right. Even like,
and nobody listens because they don't want to hear us sing.
Absolutely not. But we don't live in normal times. The results speak for themselves. DC is under control. Should Baltimore, Maryland potentially be next? I don't know. Maybe it could be the National Guard fall tour, cleaning up a city near you. I guarantee if you started rolling some Hummers over in the 4th Ward over there in Hughes, 5th, whatever ward that is that nobody goes to, crime would shut down. I got no problem with it.
There's a McDonald's on the edge of UH campus that nobody goes to after dark.
Think
Why?
about that. And I can't wait to be the one. You see those videos where the people get angry and start throwing stuff around in the McDonald's? They are rarely white people. I'm just pointing it out. If I see it, you're catching one in the dome. I'm going to bang your face off the counter. If you don't believe me, just try it. I walk into a fast food joint and you start throwing food around and yelling at the staff, bam, just like in Lonesome Dove. Wow. Your head goes onto a hard surface.
You know what? That stuff never happened when McDonald's had trays.
Right? And I'll be like this. I'll be smiling when the sheriffs show up. Cuff me. I'm proud of that. Yeah, I know blood on my knuckles. I earned it. I did it for America.
People who disagree, we don't say people who disagree with us hate America. Who hates America? The communists?
Left. Yeah,
and those that want to change America and the hardworking values that America was founded upon and the opportunity that everybody has.
Those people
to do something?
Literally tried to elect Kamala Harris. You haven't heard her name except here in 6 months. She was such a powerful leader, such a magnetic personality. Well, where is she? She's home, hanging out with Diddy, just chilling.
Joe McCrugan asks, are murders and crime normal?
No, they're not. See, and I think there's nothing wrong with saying, I applaud Donald Trump for saying, that's it, I'm done.
Torm Bales, why does the left think murder should be normal?
Well, they just do, because it's only an occasional murder, and they're good people. Yeah. There you go.
Andy Rockovich, January 6th is the most organic gathering of people I've ever seen.
Well, it now has been proven that Donald Trump, that Nancy Pelosi said no to the National Guard. Donald Trump said, you might want to bring in some more troops. I'm just telling you, these rednecks they're pissed. He did do that. I remembered it back then, and Nancy Pelosi said, I run the Capitol Police, and we have this under control. They did for the most part because nobody showed up with any weapons. And nobody wants to admit that if we decided to go to D.C. for an insurrection, we would take some guns. I mean, you're not serious about it if you show up with a, golf club. It makes
Swiss Army knife.
Right. I mean it. You break a couple of windows. They act like, I was there. I've been there several times. Since then, Capitol looks just fine. It's
Michelle
just
Wilson
fine.
Hawkins. Houston needs to be on the fall cleanup tour list.
Right?
Yeah, it really does. Does anybody really feel safe? I mean, outside of an Astros game, would you walk around that part of town if there was no Astros game?
No.
And 37,000 people walking out of Dyken Park?
By the way, the Astros have helped that area a lot.
And it's still not one I would want to go to at night when there's no Astros game going on.
No, during baseball season, it's very safe. After that, it's not. And I remember that there used to be right across the street, there were a couple of really cool spots to tailgate, if you will, pregame. And I thought, oh, man, they closed down all the local bars. The reason is when it's not baseball season, nobody goes down there. It's not safe.
Nope.
Yeah. Michelle wasn't always, she's on her book signing tour. Did Kamala Harris put out like a coloring book?
Probably so.
Wow.
Probably so.
It's called 50 Shades of Gray. The Cam the Slam story.
HR Mallory, deflect and I deflect. Bipartisan, obviously not because it didn't pass. You had Dems say it was a bad bill, a rep say good. Point is nothing had to change to enforce the law.
Yeah. Well,
nobody can read the bill. You have 48 hours to read a 1,000-page bill. Nobody wants to read that garbage in that time because you can't.
That's right.
Is Cracker Barrel worth talking about? Or
No, everybody's mad at Cracker. But I tell you what, once again, we did that on Thursday and Friday. It was
nailed it.
It was all over the whole weekend. That was the whole deal. I got a picture and a gentleman that I really enjoy, who we're going to have on the show, is Brian Cromines, is the district attorney from DeWitt and Goliad counties. And he sent me this picture. It's a caricature of him and the Cracker Barrel. It's his 24th Judicial District Attorney's Office. And he says, I'm thinking about rebranding. And it's Croming's cartoon character with his elbow on. He's sitting on a chair with his elbow on a Cracker Barrel. And I said, you should do that. And your slogan could be common sense justice with a side of gravy. He liked it. He liked that. Brian's doing a great job in those two counties as the district attorney, as is our own Constance Philly Johnson. We're very fortunate to have people that are tough on crime in our area, law enforcement folks that are tough on crime in our area.
Ismael El Mayo Zambada expected to plead guilty today in a Brooklyn courthouse to federal drug, money laundering, and weapons charges. He, of course, co-founded the Sinaloa cartel.
Alongside Joaquin El Chapo Guzman. Everybody needs a nickname.
How come? What happened to the talk of Donald Trump wanting to use our military against the cartels? We put a naval ship off the Venezuelan coast last weekend. And,
where are we at with the tariffs and stuff on Mexico? What's Scheinbaum doing? Where are we at? I haven't heard much out of that really energetic president of Mexico. Maybe the cartel told her to shut up.
Yeah. Should we take our last break and then get into a quick Astros update?
Oh, yeah. White Trash Services, folks. If you live in the counties, call them. Call them and let them help you with your trash. 550-1826. They've got a website. They've got a Facebook page. Go
TikTok
check them out.
Now.
They're not an ordinary trash company. They are a service company that thrives in the garbage sector. They're awesome. The Dollar Floor Store, go by and see and get, man, if you want tile, laminate flooring, wood flooring, carpet, they've got it all. Yeah. Top names, top brands.
And they have enough to complete your whole project. That's the beauty of it. They don't just carry a little bit of this and sell it for this rock bottom price. They carry a lot of stuff. It's all brand name. It's all rock bottom prices. And you'll be happy with using the Dollar Floor Store for your next flooring project.
There you go. Paravita Wellness. Get in and get healthy. I'm picking up meals today. I had some wonderful hamburger steaks last week. The kids love these protein waffles. Fantastic. Yeah, get into Paravita Wellness and the Vita Cafe coming off another strong weekend with their.
So a lot of people posting about the Vita Cafe this weekend.
Fantastic. Fun, light. Kind of has a California feel to it. The good part of California, like along the water. It's nice. Chesnick Furniture. Get in and see why you just always do better at Chesnick.
Always.
Chesnick and Love make your house a home, and they have everything you need to outfit your house. Brand us. Commander Cody can help you with all kinds of things. He's doing things for us right now, building a page, waiting on me. I like the fact that Cody will keep the ball in your court. You ever hire somebody to do something, you spend all your time waiting on them? Yeah. Well, he's waiting on us. I like that. I like the prodding of help me, help you. Cody can help you get things done. Atzenhofer celebrating this week. They've been in business 99 years, since 1926. Tommy Taylor is now the fourth family generation guy to be the dealership principal. Reach out to Atzenhofer. Check him out at atzenhofer.com. Go by and see Tommy. Tell him Wade and Carter sent you. Same with Went Services. You need a plug. You need ballast. You need new lights.
Aaron doing a good job of taking over from Carl and steering the ship in the right direction at Went Services.
Absolutely. Go see them. Kathleen Langer says, I look forward to hearing from Brian Michael Cromings, the 24th Judicial District Attorney. He's doing a good and principled job.
Speaking of which, Astros take 3 of 4 from the Orioles. We were worried going into the weekend because we blew it to the Orioles last weekend. Good. And we took 3 of 4. So the Astros still 2 up on the Mariners because the Mariners won yesterday. And 6.5 up on the Rangers. Rangers have won 3 in a row. It's going to be a good race for September.
Stephanie Conley says, Brent, a friend of yours is going to see Kamala speak, I believe, in Houston, and she's so proud of her daughter for supporting a strong woman. Wow.
Yeah.
A friend of mine. I don't know who that could be.
I didn't know you had any.
I don't have that many friends. No, I've got enough. I've got the right friends. That's the key.
You don't have to be everybody's friend.
That's right. Yep.
Who do the Astros have today? Nobody. I think they're off today.
They're off today.
Yeah. Rockies starting tomorrow at home at Dyken Field. Dyken Park? Dyken Park. Rockies with the worst record in baseball. Astros should win 3 games. But it's baseball. Anything can happen.
There you go.
Sometime this week, you and I will figure out how many games A&M and UT will win this year in football.
Yes, we will.
And then next week, we'll get on to the Cowboys ahead and the Texans ahead of the NFL season.
And stay tuned. This week, the ball is in my court. We're moving forward with the Mike Foreman project. Mike Foreman, the sports advocate, will be posting soon, and you need to subscribe. And we need you to subscribe. It's the first thing we've ever run out there that has any fee associated with it. But we need you to be thinking about your $9.99 a month. We need you to subscribe.
You want access to Foreman's great writing? That's where it'll be.
We love you. We'll talk to you soon, folks.
Kicked out of
Bye-bye.
right near every bar around.